Welcome to In the Circle with Suzanne. And today is my we don't know what episode, but I've been doing this since July, so it's almost a year. It's crazy. So welcome to In the Circle with Suzanne. Happy May. And I am so excited to talk about mental health today. So normally we talk about fun stuff, but I have to integrate these conversations that are important to our community. So today we're going to talk about mental health. We're going to talk about my history with mental health. We're going to talk about the Black community's history and approach and misconceptions about mental health. And then we're going to meet this beautiful and talented, lovely woman named Shara, who is here with us from NAMI. So welcome, Shara.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the first thing that I do always with everybody is I say, start from the beginning. You were born, and then what happened?
I was born here in Miami, Florida, born and raised in Miami Gardens, Liberty City, Overtown. Yeah. I am Miami, as I tell people. Yes,
and those are my peeps, all of them. Yeah.
Miami, yes. I attended schools in the Liberty City community as well as Brownsville area.
Which schools?
From pre-K to third grade, I was at Jackson Tuttle Inn, followed by Charles Drew Elementary School, then Charles Drew Middle School, and I finished from the great institution of Miami Northwestern Senior High School.
You know you got to say Northwestern. I'm like, do not say you went to those schools or not say those schools.
There are no other.
Miami Northwestern is not a game.
Yes, it's an institution of excellence.
It's an institution of excellence.
Yes.
And so Miami, Norland is known for health, right? Somebody told me that there's a whole health program there.
Northwestern.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Northwestern, my bad. Northwestern.
Yes, we do have the school has a pediatric, I believe it's pediatrics, but there is a medical
component to the school,
named after the former assistant principal, John Henry Peavy.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I think that's awesome. I heard about that. And I know that's not necessarily what the school is known for, but it is a very important part of being from Miami Northwestern. So welcome. That was probably part of your beginnings of understanding people and wanting to talk about people.
And also my church home.
Oh, where's your church home?
The historic St. Agnes Episcopal Church.
All right. Well,
that was my foundation.
Thank you, St. Agnes. Yes, of course.
Thank you.
So, okay, so you grew up in Miami and you went to these wonderful schools, and then what happened?
So I come from a family of educators, so I knew education. I wanted to become a teacher. I became a teacher. I finished from Bethune-Cookman University.
Oh, another one.
Yes, historical Black college. So my foundation was laid. It was solid. Very family-oriented. Everything I do was with my family. They have always been my support system. However, in 2015, I lost my father.
Oh, girl, I've been there. It's horrible.
Yes.
It's horrible.
I was a Dade County Public Schools teacher for nearly 20 years. And when I lost my father, I just didn't know how to handle that.
You felt the bottom fell out, right?
Oh, my God.
I just remember feeling like, and this is going to sound really crazy, but I just remember feeling like my was hanging out.
Yes.
Like my butt was hanging out. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody had raised the back of my skirt and I was just standing there. That's how I felt. Like I felt like there were flames at my feet at all times because it was like somebody took the bottom out of you, right?
Yes, it was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, you don't even know who to be.
I tell people all of the time, your family can teach you everything but how to live without them.
Ooh.
Yes. And
that is so true.
That's what I felt when I lost my dad.
Wow.
I held key positions at the school.
What was your dad like?
Oh, my God. My dad was a community activist. He was, I call him Mr. Booker T. Washington Senior High School. He was very active there, as well as North Dade, Miami, Trash Powell Stadium. He was very instrumental in the community. He was like a male mentor to countless of grown men and young boys.
He changed lives,
He did.
So that's what you're trying to do.
That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah. But again, I didn't know that I was dealing with the depression when he passed away.
Gotcha. I understand.
You know, in our families, again, I had a huge support system.
Yeah, but
when it came to talking about mental health, I didn't know. It was just something isn't right. I no longer was living. I was only existing.
You're like in a Yeah, no, I know. I've been there.
I was in the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, where you're just, you're like in some other reality, and you're like watching yourself in another reality. Meanwhile, you're going about your daily life.
Yes.
Except in your mind, you're like in a whole nother, and it's so funny because you go like, am I crazy? Which is another thing. You know what I mean? Because it's not, I understand. All I can say is I understand. Go ahead.
Yes, I went through the different phases of grief. And again, I didn't know and did not understand. I remember vividly the last day of school, the janitors had to tell me to leave because I didn't want to go home.
Why?
Because the summer was approaching. The summertime was me and my dad.
Oh, that was your dad. Like, y'all were rolling.
Oh, my God.
You were his
and
road
we had
dog.
the family reunion in
Yes.
July. I was coordinating family reunion and then my class reunion, and he was his class president.
And then he went.
I look back now and I'm like, wow, I did almost everything that my father did. But when he left, it just collapsed.
I know, yeah. Everything.
I didn't know where to go. But
or who you were.
Or who I was anymore.
If you're not his daughter, who are you?
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I knew to keep with family because that's what he told us to do his last few days.
And the church.
Yes.
Which was a great help.
Listen.
It has been for me.
If it wasn't for me having that foundation and spiritual connection, I would probably not be here.
I understand.
It was a struggle.
I understand
completely. But also in our communities, we say now that our clergy and our faith, they're first responders to us.
Yes,
we don't go to a medical doctor. We don't go to a mental health professional, but we will go to our pastors.
Well, because you're used to being vulnerable in front of your pastor. So you're going to go there and you're going to find, a soft place to land. And I always say like if I was shot and I had a gaping hole in my shoulder, everybody's like, oh my God! They have a fit, they take me to emergency, everyone. But when you have a mentally ill problem, you look normal on the outside and nobody understands that you're bleeding on the inside because they can't see it physically. And it was actually really a conundrum because you go like, well, how are you really supposed to know? I'm looking at you dead in your face right now. You seem nice and normal. I see nice and normal.
But you don't know.
But you actually don't know until you talk to somebody. And even then, I didn't want to talk to nobody. It's like, leave me alone. I remember the anger face. Do you remember the anger face?
Oh, angry,
I remember being so mad
confused.
that he left me. I was like, how dare you leave me?
Even talking to God, like, God, what happened?
Yelling at God.
You didn't prepare me for this, but he did.
Well,
at
it's
that time,
life. You had no idea. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sure it was hard to come out of that.
It was. I took 4 years off of work.
What?
Yes. I took a medical leave of... Yes. And I learned through NAMI that when you're sad or depressed, if it's more than 2 weeks, you definitely need to seek help.
Oh, my God.
I just started working for NAMI in 2022. My dad died in 2015.
And you didn't know all 7 years.
I eventually, of course, went to seek help because, again, Shara was no longer doing what Shara loves to do. I was going through arguments with people who normally I would sit and talk to you. I was frustrated. I was angry.
Yeah.
Some days I would be happy because I'm trying to get back.
Yeah, you're trying to get
back. But I had to realize the old you no longer exists because someone in that puzzle.
Because your dad physically no longer exists. So you're like, wait a minute. Yes. And you're always kind of like, I remember when my dad died, I wanted to call him up and go, Daddy, did you know these people think you're dead? And then I was like,
wow.
I mean, just think about how crazy it is. My boyfriend at the time, he looked at me and goes, you really legitimately thought your dad couldn't die? And I go, I know that sounds completely like a lunatic, but I thought he was such a good person and that he was going to be somehow exempt.
Yes.
Or die like when he's like 120. Because just, you know what I mean? Like the fact that he was gone, I was like, how dare you?
Yes. The doctors asked, should we resuscitate him? I was the one that said, of course.
Of course. He can't leave
Fight
me.
For him. Exactly.
Girl.
Exactly. And even at that moment, that was a mental health condition that was happening right then and there. Many times in learning and working with NAMI, when we talk about grief or loss in general, most times, especially in our community, we just look at it as grief. But when you lose a job, when you lose source of income,
it's trauma. It's trauma. It's trauma. And you know what? It's so funny because like Black people have somehow become used to trauma.
Yes.
Trauma has been normalized for us. We expect trauma.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm like, why can't our lovely Black girls coming up, marry a lovely man and go off and have 2 lovely kids and have a lovely life where they get to skip through the lily fields and pick strawberries and milk cows and have homeschool. You know what I mean? Like, we just don't get that. Nobody looks at us and thinks they deserve that. But if you're a white woman or anybody other than us, that's what you get.
Right.
We
We're
just
survivors,
get, we get like,
tell us,
here's all the problems.
Okay.
It's all because we know you're going to handle it.
Correct.
Which we do.
But my role
but in
now
the meantime,
here with NAMI, I'm breaking that stigma. I'm helping to make changes.
So tell me about NAMI.
So NAMI, we're the National Alliance on Mental Illness. And I only heard of this position through Dr. Evelina Bestman, who's a pioneer in the community for mental health. So there was a position for someone to be the Black and Underserved Outreach Coordinator. And ever since I accepted the position, I can honestly say from others what they've shared with me, I've made some instrumental changes.
Shara.
Yes.
Shara.
Yes.
Which rhymes with hurrah.
Yes. I have made changes by having meetings with clergy, people from the faith-based communities. I've made connections with law enforcement, but more importantly, I've made connections with the next generation and families.
So that they can understand what's going through their heads.
That can understand. We have a partnership with Dade County Public Schools now. In fact, we were there just yesterday accepting a proclamation. I've gone to countless schools from as far as Florida City, as far as Miami Gardens, to educate and tell the children about the warning signs, and more importantly, to know that they're not alone. There's hope and there's help.
Or abnormal. Yeah, I mean, the feeling of being alone really is very kind of like a purgatory, or like this kind of like self-flagellation, like, because you're alone, you only have you to talk to. You know what I mean? It's this kind of like, I don't know. It's just, you sit there in aloneness and loneliness in that depression. And, you know, I suffer from depression, which nobody ever believes, because I'm like, hey.
Right.
But there's 2 sides of me. There's 2 full-on sides of me. And anybody who knows me has seen both sides. So I get that. You know what I mean? Like, I get it in my soul, which is why I want to talk to you, because it's a real true thing.
It is.
You know what I mean? For super smart, like I was telling you earlier, is, you know, the genius is married to the crazy. Everybody knows, everyone's like, oh, Suzanne's a genius, but she's crazy. And I'm not saying I'm not. Nobody's saying I'm not. I'm just saying, why does crazy have to be bad when a lot of it, 1, everyone goes through it no matter what they say, and 2, a lot of that crazy or the struggle that you have to go through really turns you into a genius.
Yes.
It makes you a better, sharper, better, emotional intelligence, because you're so far down. In order to, I remember, like, I couldn't see up. I couldn't see light.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I have to be at Jazz in the Gardens. Meanwhile, I have to be everywhere. And in my mind, as I'm walking, I'm like, come this way, Mary J. Blige. Come this way, blah, blah, blah. In my mind, I'm like, can't wait to get home. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Think about how crazy that is. So anyway, continue, NAMI.
So with NAMI, again, I've gone to the schools, I've talked to the children and educated them on our Ending the Silence presentation. And excuse me while my eyes are doing whatever it's doing.
Are you crying?
No,
you're just watering.
I don't know if it's the lights or whatever.
There's water.
Anyway, the show goes on.
Let's have some of our half glass of water, Tyra.
No,
see, you know these kids. They gave us a half glass of water. Come on, let's cheers our half glass of water. Never to be a half glass, because it's half glass. It's half full right now. It's gonna be fuller.
Apologies. So no, I'm fine. Trust me.
Don't you worry. Don't you worry.
Maybe it's the light. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But anyway, as far as NAMI is concerned, NAMI has different components. We have a 3-module under Ending the Silence. It's Ending the Silence for youth, Ending the Silence for staff, and Ending the Silence for families. Basically, Ending the Silence provides you the warning signs of
Hang on one second.
health.
Tyra, can you get her some tissue, please?
I don't know. It just started burning.
It happens all the time. Quick, just some tissue. Thank you.
My apologies.
It's okay. Go, girl. Listen, this is as human.
It's really burning.
This is human as it gets. It's okay. It's okay. She gonna help you. Look.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You good?
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I'm good. I don't know why that happened.
It's okay. You could put some of it on the water, maybe. You know, put water on your eyes.
Not sure what happened.
It's a black woman solution right here. It's all good.
I'm not sure. This is the first time that
It's
that
all
has
good.
happened.
Listen, these are the signs that
And I know
say
you saw
you
it.
talking about
I'm not
something.
tearing
You're
up,
talking about
but-
real stuff. So you go.
Okay.
So anyway, continue, NAMI.
So with NAMI, again, I am a facilitator where I'm able to train and talk to the children about the warning signs, but more importantly, what does that look like?
What does
And
it
these
look
are the
like?
Resource. Again, those more than 2 days being sad, being frustrated.
I was sad for 2 years and 16 days.
You heard me.
2 years and
I was
16
off
days.
work for 4 years.
How? 4 years of just being in a hole.
4 years.
Did you think it was going to end?
Through prayer.
You were like, one day it's going to end.
Got me closer spiritually for me to understand my higher being. You know, but far as NAMI with the resources to explain to the children what it looks like, you're cutting yourself, you're taking laxatives or different medications.
Won't get out of bed. Not interested in anything. Not
Yes.
concerned. Don't care.
Yes.
Don't get out of bed. Just
And
don't.
that's what I did. I didn't get
Just
out of
don't.
bed.
Sit there. You learn all the TV programs. You do a lot of sleeping. You do a
Yes.
lot of, it's beyond crying.
Not
it's
taking
weeping.
care of your personal hygiene.
Yeah,
It's
nothing.
just a roller
You're just a
coaster
roller
ride
coaster.
of unknown, unexpected. But at the end of each session, I can say the children are allowed to ask us questions and we respond. We give them the numbers that, you know, if you don't have an adult, because we do train them, identify who's an adult that you feel you can trust. And I have to give them examples of the different types
Of who, like your
adults.
pastor or, you know, your
Many kids
Good
have
auntie.
relationships with the secretaries and the security officers and the counselors
Yeah.
or the cafeteria
Yeah.
worker. Just have that
Somebody.
one person that you feel you can trust.
that you could
But
vomit it on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
some
Obviously
kids-
not.
No,
Like,
no,
you,
no, I get what
you
you're
know what I mean?
saying.
That you could tell it all
Tell
to.
it all to.
Yeah.
And then there are some cases where some kids, they don't have anyone
To tell
So we
it
do
to. Mm-hmm.
provide them a sheet so that they'll know, here's some resources that you
Mm-hmm.
can call anytime. Some of them have different schedules, but we don't leave them abandoned.
You should, I
Here
mean,
are
yeah, call
resources.
them.
Call immediately.
them.
Call
Yeah,
anytime.
call them.
The one thing that they've learned is the new nationwide number 988. If you don't remember to call, you can ask also for 911 for a crisis intervention officer. But there are so many resources.
So many ways, so
that
many ways.
Our community, we are unaware, and that's my role to go and educate our community of the resources, the education, and free training that NAMI provides. I now collaborate with countless community partners so that we're all breaking the stigma and ending the silence. We have to talk about it. And this is healing for me.
Yes, I was going to say
love
this
sharing
this
my
walking.
story.
I can only imagine, like, because you know, you see that thing when people get it.
Yes.
I can only imagine you sitting in front of, let's just say 20 kids. And I'm sure if only one of those kids
That's right.
gets
That's
it,
right.
you know that you have saved somebody all that time in the hole
Yes.
and all that like darkness, and just skip it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Skip the depression part and go straight to the helping
Yes.
part. So, yeah, that's you're doing God's work.
I am.
You're doing God's work.
am.
And
It's healing for me.
I bet. Who do you think got that job for you? Thank you
My
very
Father
much.
which art in heaven.
You're also your father.
Oh,
Because, you know,
Yes.
I do believe that once they get up, they're like, like, let me see how I can figure out how to bless her. You know what I mean? Like, they're up there, like, helping us. They're our biggest advocates.
Yes.
You know, they're our
Yes.
parents. So I'm sure your dad is like, can we get my daughter somewhere so she can get over it?
right. Because one thing for sure, he would not have wanted me to
No.
do and go into a depression.
4 years and
4
you leave
years.
your job that you like and you're
I
good
love
at,
my job.
that people pay you for?
Yes.
You must have been really. Listen, I totally
Yes.
understand. Like I tell you, I was
I was
depressed
having
for
anxiety attacks, panic, you name it. I went through.
You went through it.
I went through it all.
And it's so lonely. It's so like unspeakable loneliness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Unspeakable, like depression. I don't even know how to explain it, but I've been there.
Yes.
I've been past crying. I've been to
Yes.
weeping. And you weep for a long time. You're like, oh my God, I'm still weeping.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So let's talk about medications. So do you recommend, I mean, I know you're not a doctor, but how do you guys work with that?
It works for different. Everyone is different. I should say that. I don't take any medication, but there are other types of treatment.
I was going to say your work is your treatment.
My work is my treatment, but I also love to journal. I love to listen to music. I love
God.
to go out. Sometimes I know when you say depression, some people say, well, you shouldn't be alone, but my alone time is also my healing time. It keeps me recovered. And my alone time is sometimes at the beach, or I go to the movies. I was going to say
the outside. What I found that if I could just get into some fresh air, you know what I mean? May not heal me. I'm not like, yay, but you all of a sudden feel better. Just going outside and smelling trees and smelling real air, not air conditioning, it automatically makes you feel better. And music, and I cook. I love to cook.
And that's another form.
Love to cook. And people always think I can't cook. I'm a good cook. But the chopping of the vegetables, the precision of it, the everything of it, it makes me happy. It calms my mind. And that's the kind of stuff that, like, also I color. I color. I love to color.
We provide coloring sheets to the middle and high school students. Yes. Because that's a part of healing for them.
It's the structure. What I realized, like, as much as an out-of-the-box thinker and an out-of-the-box colorer when I was little, what I realized about that coloring is that you can be in those lines and totally creative. And I'm so insistent on being in those lines, and I realized, just like the cooking is the structure. The structure of it, all of a sudden your brain gets more organized.
That's
and it's like, you know, you come home to a dirty house and you're like, ugh, and then you clean your house and it's like, oh, you feel so much better. It's just the structuring of the rewiring of the brain. That's what I realized. You know what else I realized when I was super depressed for 2 years and 16 days is, you know how they say misery loves company? What I realized is my dad died, and then my daughter went off to college at the same exact time, within 6 months. And I realized that the grief was my friend. I realized that was the one thing I could depend on every single day to be with me when I was alone. Was my grief. My grief was somebody that I knew was coming. I knew this grief was coming. So I have something, at least the grief. Right?
Wow.
It's true. I just like
That's true.
Because when you're down there, you have a lot of time to think. You think about a lot of stuff. I thought about killing myself plenty times.
Wow.
Plenty times. And then I'm like, nah, I really like I'm like, no, I'm going to miss, my friends. I'm really not, I really don't want you kind of flirt with this, like, not wanting to be here. Also, too, I remember when my dad died, like, I wanted to kill myself. I mean, you think about how stupid is that?
Well,
because you just don't want to hurt anymore.
Right. You want everything to end, and you want it to end quickly. Like, God, now you're supposed to quick and fast take this pain away, heal my mind so I can stop overthinking about things. And yes, I've been there.
But you know what I probably help works for you is when you go talk to people and they look at how together you are. Look at how together you are. How beautiful together you are.
I'm not always.
I know you're not. I'm not always like this.
In
your recovery. And they look at you and they go, well, she's together. I can get together.
Yes.
You
know? You don't have to stay and dwell there because, again, there's countless resources and help. My doctor at one point told me, you need to take a vacation. You need to get away from everything. So I started doing a few girls' trips. And at that time, it was still a roller coaster ride, and I didn't want to be the downer person.
Oh, I've been there.
On the trip. So it felt good, but I wasn't completely there. It was a process.
It was better. It was better.
It was better.
It was better than it was.
It was better, yes. And I began, once I started working with NAMI, I opened up even more to my family and friends about mental health.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Because you want to help them.
Exactly. Or so that they'll know how to deal with me.
Oh, yeah. You're like, this is what I'm going through, just so you know.
You see this happening for me.
Stop.
It's not even about you now. It's just something I'm processing and going through. If I shut off, it's definitely not anything with you because I'm more open and I can tell you what my triggers are. So I'm learning to have a healthy conversation because they need to know too.
They need to know. Friends, yes, exactly. They need to know. Listen, my bestest friends have, every single one of them have had me in their lap, bawling my eyes out. Every single one of them. They all know. Because, and you really have to have that, like a soft place to land. Somebody that's like, the way you feel does not make you bad or even necessarily different.
Yes.
You just having a human moment right now that I'm able to see. And when I go out and put on all my makeup, I do not look like that. But
Yes.
Correct?
You're
I'm
correct.
sure you have people
Absolutely.
that you can go to and fall apart.
Yes. In fact, take this as a blessing. Most of my friends and I, we've been friends at least 30 plus years.
Oh, good. So they know you. They know
exactly.
all of your people.
I'm the event
all of you.
planner of the group. I'm the one who, we're going here, we're doing
You're
this,
the
and
like,
doing
yeah.
that. But all of that.
I was going to say, so when you depressed.
Oh.
You know how they say one monkey don't stop no show? It's like, this might have stopped the show because if you're not there to plan it, that's your role. Everyone's kind of like, looking around.
I'm the one that celebrates everyone's birthday.
And so when you went.
In my head, I can think of a party or something to make you feel happy and welcomed. But that all stopped.
So when it stopped, they knew something was wrong with you. That we're like, oh, wait a minute.
Right. And in the beginning, it wasn't anything I wanted to talk about because I also felt like, but you're my bestie or you're my family member. You should automatically know without me telling you. But I also had to learn as the person who's dealing with the mental health, people aren't in your head.
How are you? Exactly. It's not a wound on your shoulder that everyone's going to rush to fix. They don't know.
Right. And they're going through their own
They don't
things.
know. But you know what has helped me and what I found helps other people? It's not just here's the numbers to call. It's calling somebody.
Yes.
Like I had an intern, last summer, who was depressed. And I found out from another intern that this person, how depressed she was. So I know she looks up to me. She's my intern. I called her up. I was like, yo, 16-year-old girl.
Wow.
I want you to look at me right here in my face, as fabulous as I am. And I want to tell you that I have been exactly where you are.
Wow.
100% where you are.
Yes.
Same person. And I fought my way through it. So anyway, let's talk about this walk on Saturday.
Yes, our walk is this Saturday at Zoo Miami. Last year we had over 2,000 plus participants. This year,
what time is it?
It's 8 o'clock in the morning, 8:30, and we're probably over about 10:30.
Okay.
But what's important about it is you see so many people that are dealing with similar situations, all for one cause, and that's mental health. Mental health knows no color.
I'm going to try to... Girl, mental health is a common denominator.
That's right.
I like to call it's a common denominator. It does not matter who you are. What is it, Lady Diana? Look at her.
Yes.
You know what I mean? She was like, I don't feel good. Listen, you look at the people and you go like, what does Kate Spade have to kill herself over? What does Anthony Bourdain have to kill himself? Anthony Bourdain's whole job was to travel all over the world first class and eat the most delicious foods ever.
Yeah.
And he killed himself.
Robin Williams is countless.
All of them. And don't you hate when people go, oh, but you have so much to live for. What are you talking about?
You never know what anyone is going through.
Irrelevant. None of it's when you have a chemical imbalance in your head, or a lot of it is situational depression.
Yes.
I don't care how much stuff I have.
Right.
Anthony Bourdain.
Right.
Robin Williams.
And what's unique, what you're saying, in the slide presentation that we show the students, we have a presentation that shows all of the famous people who are dealing with the mental health.
And I'm sure that must create like a light bulb.
Oh, yes. That's when they really open up.
Yes, because they're like, what? Because they realize, you look at all that stuff that you see.
Alone.
You're not alone. And not only are you not alone, this person that you hold in such high regard, who deserves it. Yes, who's not like they don't deserve it, who deserves it, has been where you are, which means that not like go out and become a famous comedian, but just understand that all that stuff, all that talent, it comes with a cost. Not for everybody, but for a lot of people.
Yes.
For a lot of people, it comes with a cost. You know what I mean? Like I said, the genius is married to the mental instability. They go together. They like each other. And, it's the yin and the yang. It's the light and the dark. It's the substance and it's the balance.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's what it is.
It's the balance. And I'm sure balance is probably what is created by these soothing mechanisms like coloring.
Yes.
Coloring, breathing, just outside.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
We've had events where people come and do mindful meditations. There's different ways that you can be treated. The one thing is not to sit there alone or to think you are alone. Seek professional help. At NAMI, we're all persons with lived experience. So we tell them, find someone who can professionally assess you so that you will know what you're needed. Other than that, we're still open. Our doors are open. They can call or go to our website at namimiami.org to get more information. But I hope many people can still register for our walk this
I'm
weekend.
coming.
Oh, thank you.
I'm coming.
Bring your
because it's
team.
early. I have something to do at 11:30, but I can be in Liberty City by 11:30.
Oh, yes.
That's all I need.
Yes. I'll be following.
That's all I need. Okay, so tell me, where do I register?
To our website at NAMI-Miami.org. I also have a team.
What's your team name?
The Soul Brothers and Sisters.
The Soul Brothers. All right. Can I join your team?
Yes, you may.
Is there a cost?
No, the walk is free. However, if you feel you would like to donate, we're accepting all donations.
Like all the money is fine to help these kids.
And all of our services are free.
Mm-hmm.
When I go out to any events, I can come to your church, a private organization. We're working.
Somebody pays your salary to come and help. Obviously,
all of our services
are free. Wow.
Give us a call so we can come and have a conversation. Wow. We have peer services where you can talk to someone one-on-one. Mm-hmm. We have support groups. What I really would like for people to do is to come and sign up and volunteer. Mm-hmm. We need more facilitators in our community, also from the Haitian community, okay, so that when it's time to speak Haitian Creole to someone, they feel more comfortable. And feel like they're in a safe
and that's part of them not knowing, not thinking they're alone. Understanding they're not alone is the language, because if you can't translate it, then you really actually are alone.
Most of our information is in English or Spanish, but we are building up with our Haitian brothers and sisters. Okay. Again, NAMI, we're not leaving anyone behind.
Well, you know what? I'm on the board of the Lucy Project, which is... Yes, I know, right? I'm so proud. Right. And we actually just got a grant yesterday from the Children's Trust. Go, Sandra. Go, TLP. Okay. But I think that might be a good partnership.
It will be.
Yeah, because those kids
are going to collaborate.
I know, girl. We got to do a lot together.
Yes, I'm so serious.
I'm so serious too.
Shara, do you work for NAMI or with me? I work with everyone.
I work with everybody.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I have a lot of energy.
It's good. That's good. We need more of that.
Thank you. And we went over, I know. I hope you didn't cut us off. Did you cut us off? Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Black Girl Magic. Black Girl